The sponsor of our program really doesn't need an introduction. Congresswoman Zoe Lofgren, one tough woman with an abundance of integrity. Thank you so much for sponsoring this event.
Thank you. Thank you. I just want to, as you know, I represent the 18th district in California, which includes San Jose. The city of San Jose has the largest population of Vietnamese Americans in the United States. Vietnamese people, largest number outside of Vietnam. And it's been my great honor to represent San Jose for many years. You know, back in 2016, the steel mill owned by Taiwan's Formosa Plastic Groups released toxics into the ocean. And I heard from my constituents, but also the whole world saw the devastating impact of that travesty, the millions of fish that were killed, the impact on the local economy, but also the fear of health ramifications. This is not just, of course, an environmental issue and not just an economic issue. I think it's a human rights issue. We cannot stand the lack of justice when it comes to this situation. The United States and Taiwan need to hold those responsible accountable for their actions. Last year, I led a letter with my Democratic colleagues to the Taiwanese ministers to bring attention to this situation and demand accountability. And the purpose of this briefing, which I'm happy to sponsor, is to push for awareness and to make sure that justice is achieved. Now, I want to thank everyone here today for traveling to the Capitol. People have come from Vietnam, from Taiwan, from all over the United States to tell their stories and to inform lawmakers. I hope the briefing will give victims of this injustice a chance to tell their story, to help rebuild their lives so that they can move on from this disaster. But more than anything else, the awareness needs to bring justice, which we have lacked because of this travesty. So with that, I see my colleague, Lloy Doggett, who's also a co-sponsor of this briefing. I don't know, Lloyd, I have to go to another event. Everything is happening at once here in the United States Capitol, but certainly my colleague, Mr. Doggett from Texas, also wants to say a few brief words. Thank you very much, and thank you for
It's good to see you. Well, it's always good to team up with Zoe Lofgren. We were elected the same year, long, long ago, and we're still here fighting on issues like this. I'm joining you today not only in working with Zoe, but because of the invitation of my friend and community leader in Central Texas, Nancy Bowie. And I am moved by the courage of continuing to demand action on this very important issue. I think that in my home state of Texas, as well as Louisiana, Delaware, and of course in Taiwan and Vietnam, we have seen the impact of Formosa plastics. It has resulted in the suffering of people, of fisheries, of communities, and certainly our environment. As you'll learn today with the great briefing ahead of us, Formosa plastics has simply too many abuses of human rights and of the environment for us to sit idly by and not take action. They are a giant polluter that victimizes the very people who live and work near their businesses. We have extensive experience with this in Texas. After prolonged, extensive litigation in which Formosa Plastics fought every step of the way, a U.S. District Judge in Texas described it as a serial offender, and the company eventually agreed to pay $50 million for its rampant and illegal discharge of pollutants, plastic pellets in the Baca Bay along the Gulf Coast and in some of the surrounding waterways. And so all that I think we need to seek and advocate for is to see that the fishermen in Vietnam get the same treatment that because they had the same treatment from Marshall Plastics, that they get similar compensation for the injustices and the great harm that we'll hear about today. Thank you very much.